Today we take a look at the KORG Modwave again, and this time I will walk you through how we can set up the oscillators. And for this movie I'm only going to use one oscillator, and we can actually use four, but I just want to show you how you can set up one oscillator and also how we can modify certain parameters, which makes the Modwave a really fancy instrument. And especially because this shows you how different the Modwave is from the Wavestate. So if you are willing to buy a KORG Wavestate or Modwave, definitely take a look at this movie, because this will show you the biggest difference of both of these synths. Okay, so let's just start with an empty performance, init performance. Now I have layer A enabled. We actually have two layers, but I'm using only one layer. As you can see right here, we can configure oscillator 1 and oscillator 2. I am going to bring down the volume of oscillator 2, so we can focus on oscillator 1. And here we have the oscillator mode button. We can use A, B, or sample. So just like the Wavestate, you can also use samples. For example, brass. So as you can see, you can use samples, but we are concentrating on these wavetables. Okay, so we have chosen to use AB. This means we can use two wavetables. Wavetable A, which I am going to configure right now. Just make sure it's on A with the AB blend knob. And now let's choose a sound. I see we have cranky in here. Oh, my girlfriend is in here as well, cranky. I'm just kidding, of course. Cranky is fine. And now we are going to apply a modifier. And what this modifier does is it removes even harmonics. So we only keep the odd harmonics. Or the other way around, we can also choose even only, skip each tree, odd plus clip, etc. All of these modifiers are explained in the manual. Let's go with odd only. Okay, so this is how wavetable A sounds. This is wavetable B. Blend up so we can hear B only. Now let's choose something different than A. Maybe this one. Instead of odd only, maybe we can choose even only, so we get different harmonics than the other wavetable. And if I turn the blend knob, this is how they sound combined. Now on this page we can also change the position. Which changes the sound drastically, and what it basically does is our wavetables can have up to 64 different waveforms, and when we change position we are actually scrolling or sweeping through those positions, through those different waveforms. So every wavetable has a lot more sounds than you will probably ever need, but and it's not for every wavetable. They can have up to 64, but they can have less as well. And the X fade width amount, if you turn it down and we change the position, we can really hear when it changes the waveform. And I like a smooth transition, so I turn the X fade all the way up, because we are going to mod that position later in this video. Now B offset, let's just hold this. This sounds nice. A-B blend. Okay, that's quite good as well. Then the next page. Okay, and this is really interesting too. We can morph and we can change the morph type. So let's see what we have here. These morphing types are also explained in the manual. Let's hear how flip sounds. Morph. Sounds interesting, but maybe let's look for something else. Yeah, this one is definitely better. Also LFO. We do have a dedicated LFO for morphing for Oscillator 1, but also for Oscillator 2 as well. But in this movie, I'm only going to show you one oscillator. So let's configure the LFO. Turn up the intensity. Maybe bring down the frequency so it's really subtle. Maybe change the shape to sine. Okay, that sounds good. Now I am going to bring the LFO down. So this is how it sounds without, and this is with the LFO. But I am going to disable it for now, because I am also going to show you something else, and I just want to make sure that you really hear what's going on next. So on the next page, we have the envelope amount, and that's the next big thing that I'm going to tell you about. Every oscillator, so Oscillator 1 and Oscillator 2, also have a dedicated envelope. And what this envelope actually does is change the position. And if we listen to how it sounds, so let's turn the envelope up. That's how it sounds. Now let's take a look. Maybe bring the attack up and just use the decay. What I really like to do is a short decay. Really cool for some talking bass kind of sound. You get what I mean, right? We can turn it down even further. And we can also change the position. So that's a dedicated envelope for changing the position. We also have talked about the LFO for changing the morph. And also something else we can do is we can change the blend, but we can do this by, for example, using step sequencing, and that's what I'm about to show you right now. So I am going to show you the shape lane, 4 steps. And what it actually does is I can put different shapes on the steps. For example, this one, maybe a double pulse, something like this. 4, well, maybe saw down, something like this. So now we have configured 4 steps. And you see them moving. But of course, we still need to link those shapes to something else. And then we also have a sequencing lane. And this is sequencing lane A. We just need only 1 step. And we are going to link the shape. Use shape on. So now, every time this step plays, the shape is going to be linked, and we can do something with the value of the shape. And the value of the shape is going to determine how much we can actually turn this value up or down, or, well, it's hard to explain, but you'll see it in a minute what I mean. So the shape lane is for configuring shapes, and the sequence lane is actually to configure the amount of value change that we are going to bring to a certain parameter. So I set the value to +50, and the shape is on, so it actually is, when the shape is on its highest level, it's going to add a value of +50 at maximum. And now let's, for example, change the blend. So we want to link the sequencing lane A to blend. You can do this by going to the blend and then mod page plus, press enter, and then we have Destiny Oscillator 1 AB blend, and the source is sequencing lane, step sequencing lane A. I press enter, intensity all the way up, and let's listen to this. So as you can hear, it goes through the shapes really quickly, and I can change this by going to our timing lane because it goes way too fast. Also just need 1 step for now. I go to the next page, step 1, duration, and I make it longer. A quarter note. Now you can really hear those shapes. So if you go to the shape lane again, this is basically what we are hearing. So now it's linked to the blend. We can, of course, also change the blend. If I turn it all the way up to B, it's already at 100, so the shape lane will add nothing, and you don't hear a difference. So we always have to make sure there is some space for our shape to do its job. Now we can also do it the opposite, in the opposite direction. For example, if we turn it up to 100, we can go to our mod and the intensity. I think if we turn this around, minus 100, it's doing the trick in the opposite direction. Which sounds fine to me. Okay, so now we configured and modded our sound a little bit. We can take it even further. For example, okay, the morph, I forgot to apply the LFO again, so this is how it sounds. Now this might not sound really crazy to you yet, or not crazy enough to you, but keep in mind we are only using one oscillator right now, and we can configure two oscillators, modify them, and actually that's only using one layer. We have two layers, so actually we can do this for 4 oscillators. And then we can come up with all kinds of crazy stuff. But for this video, I just wanted to show you how one oscillator can sound like and what we can do to make it sound interesting. Now, something else I want to show you is the effects. For example, if we use guitar amp, this is where we can make a very different sound than the wave state. It also has the same effects, but it just sounds so different using those wavetables and waveforms. And that's something we can't do with the wave state. Now we can, for example, use one of the mod knobs. Let's turn this down to dry. And now we can use the mod knob to add that guitar amp distortion. Maybe some chorus as well. Some delay. Okay, so that's it for this video. Please subscribe to my channel because I will be uploading a lot more KORG Modwave and Wavestate content. Also, if you don't own my free multi-sample pack yet, I will put a link in the description. And as always, I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.